okay. Camera's working. Yay, cool. Oh. Sorry about that, I thought I lost my phone. Yeah, I fixed my phone. It was broken. In case any of you guys wanted to know that. You probably didn't. No. Hello guys, that weird stuff is done now. It's a bit pointless really, but God knows what it looks like when it's edited. I thought I would go with the Halloween flow, because 2 weeks till Halloween. Yeah! I want to talk about one of my recent fandoms I have actually got myself into, Being Human, which is a BBC free drama, which sadly got axed by the BBC, which I can kind of see why, now that I've seen the series, I can kind of see why it was axed, but yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to do my general thoughts, because this is all quite new to me, because I've never seen Being Human before in my life. I really like it. I actually love it. I mean, like, I had a feeling I wasn't going to like it. I mean, I thought, oh, I've never seen Being Human, I might give it a watch. And it's actually written by Toby Whithouse, who had actually wrote the recent Doctor Who episodes. I know I'm going back into Doctor Who, sorry about that. But, yeah, Toby Whithouse had created and wrote this, so he actually does a really good job with horror. So before the episode of his started, I thought, oh, I'll look at Being Human, and I was actually really pleased with it. I mean, you can definitely write characters. I mean, a lot of characters in the series were likeable. You've got Mitchell, the vampire, who's pretty cool. You've got George, the werewolf. Then you have Annie, the ghost. What's her face? Nina. Yep. So they're all quite good characters. Personally, I am a fan of the originals. I mean, for me, I think the first 3 seasons were probably the strongest. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of Series 4. Series 5, I'll be honest, I really didn't like. I didn't like the direction they were going in Series 5. Nah. No, not a fan of Series 5 of Being Human. So, yeah. But yeah, the first series, what are my thoughts on that? Well, as a newcomer, to the show, I thought, light randomly going off, as a newcomer I thought this is actually quite different. I have to admit, I've never actually seen anything quite like this. I actually thought, what the actual hell am I watching? But every single character was likeable in their own way. I mean, like Mitchell, I thought was quite a good character, because he's got such a great backstory, and the fact that he used to be this evil killing vampire who used to literally kill. I really liked that. The fact that he's he's actually struggling to try and keep himself human, because all he can think about is his hunger. So I really liked exploring that, on what it's like to be a vampire. So the whole vampire story arc was quite good, and the vampires do play quite a big part in Being Human. Then George, I really like George. I think what I like about George is he's so innocent and so secure and very, not someone you would expect to be something like that. He's very shy and quiet, wimpy. And seeing someone like him play a werewolf was quite different, and I really enjoyed that. So yeah, really enjoyed that. So he played quite a good part in Series 1. Annie as well. I love Annie. She's a great character, really great, and she's actually the longest serving as well. But yeah, she was quite good. Really likes the story between her, like the fact that she's a ghost, and then it's only, you know, George and Mitchell that can really see her. I thought that was really cool. And then you had loads of different vampires. I think the main villain in this one, I think he was called Eric. I may have been confused. Someone will have to comment down below if you know. But I've seen that actor in a lot of things, and I thought he was great as that. It was quite scary because I'm always used to seeing him play quite, you know, uplifting characters. So it's quite weird seeing him play quite a villainous character, and I thought, ooh. So yeah, he was great. I'm just talking about characters at the moment. Nina, she was good. She doesn't really play a big part until the second series, but she played quite well in the second series. I thought, sweet. In series 1, it's pretty much about Annie. In my opinion, I think a lot of it is based around Annie and the vampires, you know, because Annie's trying to work out, you know, how she got killed, because she was told, well, people believed that she had fell down the stairs, but it turned out that her boyfriend had actually pushed her down there. So the boyfriend that she has loved and said that she would never fall in love with someone else was his killer, and he turned out to be a right dick, basically. Like most programs. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. Wait, that sounded horrible. No, sorry, I completely misled that. I didn't like the fact that she died. Oh, God, that sounded really bad. No, I mean, as in it was well performed, and it could have gone a lot. It could have been like really crappy, but it actually worked. And I liked the whole twists and turns with that. Same with Mitchell. Yeah, what I liked about Mitchell's character was the fact that you never really knew what he was going to do, you know, if you get what I mean. So, you know, you never knew if you could trust him or not. He wasn't as trustworthy as George and Annie was, so I kind of liked that. So the fact that you weren't quite sure if he was going to turn good or if he was going to turn bad, you're never quite sure what side he was on, and if you could 100% trust him, which I liked. I thought, yeah, I quite like that. But yeah, I really liked Series 1, because I think Series 1 was pretty much just introducing all the characters. There wasn't really much of an arc going on, and it was kind of like Mitchell sort of deciding if he wants to be a vampire or if he wants to be human. Series 2 was kind of the same thing. I think with Series 2, it's pretty much like... I think with Series 1 we sort of find out about George. He sort of copes with like being away. It's basically like all the main characters sort of trying to cope with their different abilities, like George being a werewolf, and then Mitchell being a vampire, and Annie being a ghost. Series 2 was kind of the same, but then the vampires got hugely involved, because then the vampires were like the main villain. So like they became like the main threat. But I think my favourite part of Series 1, I think it was the end of Series 1, where like there's that big battle when we see George like transform into a werewolf, and he literally kills that vampire guy who I think's called Eric or something. I don't know what his name was. So yeah. But yeah. Really liked Series 1. Series 2 was good. Not really that different. Series 1, really. It was pretty much like we all know who the characters are. Oh, and you know, then we got the other seasons, like Series 3. I really like Series 3. I thought Series 3 was really good. Had lots of great episodes in there. Series 4 was quite cool as well. I was a bit upset that a lot of my favourite characters died, you know. Like, Mitchell's death, I was actually quite shocked about that, because I didn't think that. I was like, yeah, they'd never kill Mitchell off. And then he dies, like, so sudden. And I'm like, oh. Then obviously George dies, which I found quite emotional, because out of all the characters, he was the one I didn't want to die the most, because he was so innocent. And I didn't like how Nina was written out. The fact that they just said, oh, she died, and they don't actually go into any further detail. She just died. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't like that. We don't actually see her death or anything. Annie was, I suppose, I think it wasn't that difficult with Annie, because she's already dead, really, but seeing her go was quite tough, because she was like the only original character left. So I found that quite tough. I can't seem to remember the names of the other 3 people. I know one of them was called Tom, but I can't remember the others. I wasn't really a fan of the other gang, if I'm honest. I didn't really like Series 5 that much, because it didn't really go anywhere. But I do like the whole concept of having the devil as the villain. I thought that was quite good. I really loved the twist at the end, where like you're not quite sure if, you know, they are human again, or if they're not human again. But yeah, it's kind of annoying that it ended that way, because I think a lot of us are probably like, for God's sake! I can just imagine loads of Being Human fans being annoyed. But yeah. Okay, so that's my Being Human video. If you haven't seen Being Human, then I highly recommend that you go and watch it, because it really is the joy to watch. Or if you have seen Being Human, comment down below your thoughts on what you think of the series, and then maybe we can have a discussion. I don't know. Please like, comment and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I hope you all have a very great Halloween when it comes. So yeah. Ta-ta.